The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a tense confrontation as Sharon's secrets are unveiled. For as long as Sharon Newman could remember, she had feared one thing above all: the arrival of Heather's family. They were unlike anyone else in Genoa City, bound together by loyalty and an unshakable sense of justice. Sharon had worked tirelessly to maintain her image, carefully crafting a facade that no one around her had the insight or the courage to tear down. She knew that in Genoa, her secrets were safe, but she also knew that the family she feared could shatter that illusion in an instant. So when Paul Williams appeared at her doorstep, Sharon's heart sank. She struggled to maintain her composure, but fear flickered in her eyes, a look that didn't go unnoticed by Paul. He was there, standing in her doorway, eyes piercing, his presence alone enough to unsettle her. The intensity of his gaze was matched only by the heavy silence that filled the space between them. "Why are you so scared to see me, Sharon?" Paul's voice was calm but laced with suspicion. "Do you have something to hide?" Sharon swallowed hard, forcing a calm smile onto her face, but she could feel herself unraveling. She had always been able to keep her mask on, even in the most trying circumstances. Yet Paul's presence unnerved her in a way she couldn't ignore. It was as if he could see through her, stripping away the layers she'd carefully constructed. Trying to regain control, she laughed, though it sounded hollow. "Why would I be scared, Paul? You're just showing up unannounced. It's a little unnerving, that's all." But Paul's gaze didn't waver. His eyes narrowed, his lips pressed into a tight line as he took a step closer. Sharon felt the urge to back away, but held her ground, unwilling to show weakness. Yet Paul could sense her discomfort, the way her posture shifted, the slight tremor in her voice. He wasn't buying her act, and Sharon knew it. "Why did Heather die, Sharon?" Paul's voice was cold, devoid of any warmth. He didn't blink, didn't move. "Were you involved in her murder?" The question hit Sharon like a punch, and for a moment, she lost her balance, but she quickly regained her composure, lifting her chin in defiance. "I had nothing to do with that," she said, her voice sharp. "Heather's death was tragic, but I'm not a murderer, Paul. You're grasping at straws." Yet Paul's patience had worn thin. No longer the police officer he once was, he felt free from the constraints of procedure, justice, and restraint. The grief of losing Heather, his beloved daughter, had transformed into a dark, consuming rage, and standing here face to face with the woman he suspected of being involved pushed him to his breaking point. Without warning, Paul lunged forward, his hands wrapping around Sharon's throat. She gasped, clawing at his hands as he tightened his grip, his eyes blazing with fury. "Tell me the truth, Sharon," he growled, his voice low and deadly. "If you're lying, I swear you'll pay for what you did. You may fool everyone else in this town, but you can't fool me." Sharon's mind raced, panic flooding her veins as she struggled for air. She forced herself to stay calm, even as her vision blurred and her strength waned. With every ounce of defiance she had left, she whispered, her voice barely audible, "I didn't kill Heather." Her words only fueled Paul's anger. He had spent months haunted by Heather's death, consumed by questions that had no answers, and now, with Sharon in his grasp, he felt closer to the truth than ever before. But the defiance in her eyes, the stubborn refusal to admit anything, infuriated him. Just as the tension reached its breaking point, a sudden knock echoed through the room, breaking the silence. Sharon and Paul froze, eyes widening as they looked toward the door. The knock sounded again, firm and insistent. Sharon's heart raced as a flicker of hope ignited within her. Could it be chance, or someone who would bring an end to this terrifying confrontation? For a moment, neither of them moved. Paul's grip loosened slightly as he glanced toward the door, his face contorted with frustration and indecision. Sharon seized the opportunity, pulling herself free and stepping back, gasping for air as she clutched her throat. The knocking continued, and a voice called from the other side, "Sharon, are you in there?" The tension in the room was thick as Paul took a step back, his hands trembling, anger still simmering in his gaze. Sharon steadied herself, her heart pounding as she glanced toward the door, wondering who was on the other side. The moment had passed, but the threat still loomed, hanging in the air like a dark cloud. Whoever was knocking on that door could be her only chance at escape, or her final downfall. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the show's about to celebrate an impressive milestone on November 13. That's when Abby Newman Abbott and Divin Hamilton Winters will tie the knot, so they'll say some beautiful vows and celebrate their love. However, there'll be some twists and turns once this wedding gets underway. Phyllis Summers will be busy setting a trap for Sharon Newman across town, so it looks like Nick Newman will get a clue about some trouble and bail on the nuptials to check it out. In other words, Devin and Abby's marriage ceremony won't take center stage the whole time. The show will be looking for ways to make the 13,000th episode memorable, so what if they use it to finally reveal the truth about Heather Stevens' fatal outcome? Sharon blacked out at Heather and Daniel Rumalotti Jr.'s apartment, so she doesn't know what happened during that missing time. All Sharon knows is that she woke up to find Heather deceased thanks to a blow to the head. If Sharon was guilty of taking Heather out like that, Y&R would have let us watch her do it. They intentionally made it so viewers didn't see the actual incident because there are more revelations to come. It'd be great if the 13,000th episode could give fans updates on the real culprit. Perhaps a flashback sequence could show off a glimpse of who truly caused Heather's demise that night. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that Sharon will remember at this point in this story. It's possible Sharon could have total recall, but it's also possible that Y&R could simply let viewers see what transpired, leaving Sharon in the dark and giving fans more knowledge than anyone else. Naturally, Sharon is still responsible for getting rid of Heather's body and setting up Daniel to take the fall. There will be many more issues for Sharon to tackle in the coming episodes, no matter who's revealed as the person behind Heather's grim fate. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the mystery of Heather's last night alive will continue to unravel, so we'll bring you more predictions on Sharon's story and all the wild news to come. Ahead of her mother's birthday on November 11, Tracy E. Bergman took to Instagram to marvel at her good fortune at being born to Susan Lloyd. "Life didn't come with a manual, it came with a mom," exclaimed the Young and Restless leading lady. "Happy 92 years young to my ma. So lucky to call you mom and best friend," she added. "Love you to the moon and back." If the pictures in Bregman's lovely tribute look especially glamorous, it's with good reason. Not only is Lloyd a card-carrying knockout, but she's also an accomplished actress. Since the late 1950s, she's been guest starring on everything from 77 Sunset Strip to The Avengers. She also appeared on just about every Western this side of Yellowstone: Gunsmoke, Rawhide, Maverick, Bonanza, Laramie, Lawman, Wichita Town, Bat Masterson, Colt 45, Have Gun, Will Travel, You Name the Show, and you can bet your Stetson that she's done it. In 2017, Lloyd even passed through Genoa City as a restaurant patron. Since the late 1950s, she's been guest starring on everything from 77 Sunset Strip to The Avengers. She also appeared on just about every Western this side of Yellowstone: Gunsmoke, Rawhide, Maverick, Bonanza, Laramie, Lawman, Wichita Town, Bat Masterson, Colt 45, Have Gun, Will Travel, You Name the Show, and you can bet your Stetson that she's done it. In 2017, Lloyd even passed through Genoa City as a restaurant patron. Just before Bregman's 61st birthday earlier this year, she shared that her mom had suffered a stroke. Thankfully, the soap vet said she was going to be oak. But it is truly a reminder of how lucky and fragile life can be. I've always said, it's not what happens to you that defines you. It's what you do from that moment on that does. On The Young and the Restless, Victor revealed his secret rebuilding of the original Newman Ranch to his family. They loved it, and so do fans. Here's a great behind-the-scenes peek at what went into bringing this iconic location back to Genoa City. On Y&R's new YouTube channel, production designer David Hoffman gave fans a look behind the curtain at what went into recreating this set. Sharon burned it to the ground in 2012. Before that, it had been Victor's home since the 1980s, and he and Nikki regularly lived there. I got the call from Josh Griffith, our showrunner, saying it's happening, we're going to do it for the wedding. And it's going to be for 13,000th episode of The Young and the Restless, Hoffman explained. Of course, the set is brand new and not the actual original. The new ranch set is kind of a homage to the original set, it's not an exact duplicate. So when you're watching the show, you feel the spirit of the original set, but it's new and exciting and elegant. Fans will get the chance to enjoy Nikki and Victor living there again, and as scenes occur, they can look for some of the things they remember from the original Newman Ranch. We did recycle a couple of items from the original set, he said. The desk is back where it should be. There are some little treasures that we've kind of tucked in here and there, so it's something for the fans to be looking for. You can check out the entire video below. How do you feel about Victor rebuilding the original Newman Ranch? What are your thoughts so far after seeing it on screen on the show? The news of Ashley's return to Genoa City brought joy to her family and fans, but for Alan, it was a nightmare. To everyone else, Alan seemed a loyal friend to the Abbott family and a devoted romantic partner to Tracy. But the truth was far darker. Alan was actually Martin, an imposter posing as his own brother to infiltrate the Abbotts for his own secret agenda. Ashley, however, was not easily fooled. Having known both Alan and Martin, she picked up on subtle changes in Alan's behavior. The charm felt forced, and his once quiet confidence had turned into an unsettling secrecy. Ashley's suspicions grew, and she resolved to observe him closely. Martin's goal was simple but ambitious. He aimed to secure a place within the Abbott family, gaining access to their wealth and influence. By feigning affection for Tracy, he hoped to secure his spot in the Abbott mansion. But Jack, the family patriarch, was wary of strangers and unlikely to let an outsider in so easily. Sensing this, Ashley devised her own plan to expose Martin's true identity. Ashley began investigating Martin's past, uncovering glimpses of a very different life than the refined alien persona he presented. She learned that Martin had a history of manipulation and deceit, traits he was now using to pursue the Abbott's fortune. Knowing she needed undeniable proof, Ashley set up a family gathering, carefully observing Martin's reactions. During the reunion, Ashley tested him, subtly confronting him with details from the real Alan's life. Martin grew visibly uncomfortable, his responses increasingly evasive. Finally, Ashley's questions pushed him to a breaking point, and he dropped his mask, revealing his true, calculating nature. The Abbotts, horrified by the deception, swiftly turned against him. Jack, furious, threw Martin out of the mansion, vowing that he would never be welcomed back. Tracy, heartbroken but resolute, demanded that he leave her family alone for good. Though Ashley had exposed Martin and protected her family, she felt a bittersweet satisfaction. She had shielded them, but it had cost her sister's trust and happiness. Yet, Ashley knew her return to Genoa was just the beginning. Determined to defend her family from any hidden threats, she vowed to stay vigilant, ready to unmask anyone who dared to deceive them again. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victor Newman, a man who values legacy and succession, has his eyes set on Chancellor Industries, an asset closely tied to Catherine Chancellor, a legendary figure in Genoa City's business history. For Victor, only those with true skill can uphold Catherine's legacy. and he firmly believes Billy Abbott lacks the courage and ability required to lead Chancellor. Jill, who has a deep bond with Catherine and a vested interest in Chancellor Industries, is also beginning to doubt Billy's capability. Though she has trusted Billy's talent in the past, his recent rash decisions and erratic behavior now worry her. With Billy's focus seemingly waning, Jill is starting to consider Lily as a potential replacement to bring stability to the company. Meanwhile, Victor has no intention of sitting back and watching Chancellor fall under the direction of someone he views as incompetent. To Victor, Chancellor Industries represents more than just a business. It's a symbol of his late friend Catherine's enduring legacy. He believes his wife, Nikki, a savvy businesswoman, would be the ideal leader to protect that legacy. Driven by his ambitions, Victor approaches Jill with an offer to buy the company, hoping to convince her that selling to him is the best way to preserve Catherine's values. Jill, after evaluating Billy's performance and the potential risks Chancellor may face, starts leaning towards Victor's offer. She realizes that under Victor's control, Chancellor might thrive in the competitive market. But when Billy and Lily learn of the negotiations between Jill and Victor, they feel hurt and betrayed. For Billy, this is a devastating blow to his pride. He had hoped to inherit and grow Catherine's company. Lily, empathizing with Billy's pain, feels the weight of being overlooked by both family and Victor. Together, they face the hard truth that ambition and dedication may not be enough to change their reality. Jill ultimately makes her decision and agrees to Victor's terms, brushing aside Billy's objections. She believes that partnering with Victor is the best path forward for Chancellor and Catherine's legacy. Once the deal is settled, Victor proudly announces that Chancellor is now a part of the Newman Empire, a victory that not only expands his business, but also marks a significant strategic win. This monumental shift sends shockwaves through Genoa City, particularly within the Abbott family, as Billy and Lily are left to find a new path. For them, this defeat could be a catalyst for personal growth, or it may spark a quiet but fierce rivalry with Victor and Newman Enterprises. Though Jill stands by her choice, she's not without her own doubts, hoping Billy will understand her intentions. As Victor celebrates his latest triumph, questions linger about Chancellor's future. Will Catherine's legacy truly be protected, or has it become yet another pawn in a ruthless power game? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.